Hi and welcome to this video. This video is going to be about mastering newsletters in Word. At the end of this video, you will understand the concept of newsletters and you will be able to build a newsletter in Word. Let's get started. I prepared this layout for this tutorial, so we will use or we will build this layout in this tutorial using Word. So this is just a classic newsletter. We have a banner and then we have an intro text. And then we have kind of a grid here or two columns here, three columns layout. And at the end, we have a footer. And now let's move to Word. Let me open my Word. Before we start building the newsletter or building the layout, you might ask yourself, why Word? So if I can't use it to send a newsletter, so why I'm using Word to build a newsletter? So we use Word because Word has an HTML engine in the background. And at the end, we can copy our newsletter and paste it in Outlook, Gmail, all other email editors. So it's the perfect solution for all editors because, as I said, it's an HTML editor in the background. It's different than like Outlook because in Outlook, when you save to the drafts folder. Here you save to a normal file, and you can export your work even as an HTML. So at the end, you can save as an HTML file or a PDF. So you have a lot of options here in Word. It's like the Joker for newsletters. And now let me explain something else, which is why newsletters are special or why they need like certain skills to build them. So newsletters are kind of different than a normal HTML layout because email engines use an old HTML version. So it's not like the one in the web due to a lot of reasons, but mainly security reasons. So you can't use JavaScript. You can't use like really normal CSS as an extra file. There are no media queries. So it's just HTML tables and inline style. It's mostly, so it's not 100% always, but mostly it's just tables and inline style. We use the tables to keep them responsive. This is the only reason to use the tables. So tables are responsive. That's why we use them always. And there are some specifications related to tables, the columns, the rows. We will talk about them in this tutorial. Now, let's start building the newsletter. The first thing that we need to do is to switch from a print layout to a web layout. And to do that, we need to go to this icon at the bottom here, if you can see it, the web layout. This is one option to switch to web layout, and there is another option which is under view, and here you can see we have here also web layout. So you can use both of them, but if you don't want to switch between tabs, you can just go directly to this icon at the bottom right of your screen. And now let's go back to home, and here we have like the text editor. But we need first, as I said, to go to insert. And we need to insert a table. And this table is going to be the table that holds our background. Because it's going to hold or it's going to have the background of our newsletter, we need to give it a 100% width and we need to give it some spacing inside. So the first thing that to do is to go to table layout and to go to properties. And here under properties, we need to go to preferred width and give it 100. When you type 100, it's going to switch to percent. So, and then we press on OK. And now we have a 100%. It's not going to take the whole width because I have a big screen. So, but it's now 100%. Then we need to go to properties. And here we need to give our table kind of spacing inside it. And to do that, we need to go to cell, and under cell, we need to choose options. And here we have the cell margins. And here we need to uncheck the same as the whole table. And then we need to give it like half centimeter. So, and then let's copy it. And that's it. The second thing that we need to do is to remove the border. But after removing the border, our table now is gone. So fix that, like to see where our table, where is, a- and to fix that and to see where the table is now, we need to go to table layout and then to view grid lines. And now the grid lines helps us to see the table. And now we need to create the main table or the body of our newsletter, because our main table is very wide or has 100% width. The second table is going to take the whole width. So we need to highlight it and do the same thing. Go to table properties, and we need to give it 21 pixels, point 1, which is going to be around 800 pixels. And we need to go to properties again, and here we can center our table or align our table. And here we can change the alignment to center. Now is our table centered, and we need to remove the borders as I did before. We need to go to table design and borders, no border. And now we need to go to our design. So I'm going to make the design on the left side and the Word file on the so now we have a Word here on this side, and we have Illustrator on the other side. This is going to help us to see the design and our layout in Word. And here we can count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So we need 5 rows in this table. So let me go to layout, and here we have insert below. We have 1 now. We need 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first one doesn't need any spacing left and right because it's going to hold the banner, and the banner doesn't need any spacing. It's going to take the whole width. So let us go to properties again, cell options, and let us here give it 0. Left, right, top, bottom. So now it has 0, but the others are going to have the same spacing left, right, top, bottom. So we need to highlight them all and go to properties. And here we need to go to cell again, options, and we need to give it like top, bottom 5 millimeters or half centimeter, and left and right we need to give it 1 centimeter. And that's it. So now we have the cells with the spacing, and we have the other cell for the banner. I'm not gonna do any export. I'm just gonna do a copy paste from Illustrator. It's not the best option, but just to spare time, because it's gonna take time to export all the elements. But now it did something weird, so it's a bit bigger than expected. But here we have the layout options, and it's very important to make sure that all your images have inline with text, because this is the safest option in newsletters. So now we have kind of spacing or a lot of spacing top bottom, we need to go to graphic format. Or there's a better option just to paste as an image, and it's gonna do it without bothering ourselves and going the extra mile. So let me go to picture format and let's reduce the size to 1.21 centimeters, point 1. And now we have the banner there. So now we need the text. It's a bit pixelated, but so we are not gonna use it officially, so it's okay. Now let's get the text from the template. So the first thing that we need to do copy paste is the headline. So the headline, and now we need to change the font. It's better to use Arial because it's a system font. It's safe on all devices. So now let's go to 36 and let's make it bold. And now we need to change the color. To change the color, I'm just going to use any blue color from this list here. Now we need the lorem ipsum text. And as you see, it took the same style like the headline. Now we need to change it to normal text and we need to change it to Arial. We need to add kind of spacing after paragraphs, and to do it, we need to highlight all the text and go to paragraph. We need to go to this arrow here, and then we need to make sure that before the text is 0 and after text is around 12. Sometimes it's automatic or it's auto here, so you need to make sure that it's 0 because this is going to cause a problem on the web. And now let's remove the extra enter between the paragraphs, and it looks kind of okay. To have the text and the image next to each other, we need to insert another table and 2 columns this time. Let us remove the border. No border. Let's resize the table. We can add an extra space after it. Let's insert a picture. I think I prepared something. Oh, it's just a picture or a photo from Unsplash. Let me give it huge. So to resize it, we need to go to picture format here. We have the width and height. So I'm just gonna give it 5 centimeters and let's see. It looks a bit better now. So how we can make it round like this image here? So we need to highlight it again and go to crop. First, we need to crop it to square. So 1:1 aspect ratio. And then we need to crop it to shape oval. And now the image is going to be round. But the problem, if let's add kind of small border to it. But the problem now, if I'm going to save or I'm going to copy paste it to another program, it's going to have kind of weird background, gray background, because the image is JPEG and we need to change it to PNG. And to do that, we need to do cut. So highlight the image and do cut, Control X, and then go to paste, paste special, and then paste as PNG. And now it's going to be always it's going to stay in this form without having a background. Now we need to add the name and the title. So let me do a copy paste here. So here we have a name and a title. We need to center them. To align them to the center of the image, we need to go to table layout and align center left. And here we need to give the name, or to make the name bold. And actually, that's it. That's the first section of the newsletter. Now let's move to the second one, which has a background. And we need to go to table design and choose the gray background. It's similar to the one on the design. And if you are not satisfied with it, you can just go to more colors and just type the hexadecimal of your the hexadecimal value of the color. And we can just copy the headline from the top one and paste it here. So that's it. And now we have like a grid or two columns. We need, as usual, table. And here in the table, I'm just going to add text from the top one. Let's remove the borders. Table design, borders. Table design, borders, no border. And now we need to add the image on the right side, or on the right side of the text. And to do it, we need to go to Illustrator. I'm not going to export. I'm just going to do copy paste. It's weird. It's not. Yeah, now it's working, because at the beginning it didn't work. I don't know why. So we can resize it now a little bit. And that's pretty much it. We still need to add a button. And to add a button, you have two options. Either you use an image, or you just use table and you link the text inside the table. I use always, or most of the time, tables. So let me add a table. Let me give the table a background. Let me remove the border. And let me go to table layout and give this table kind of spacing. I'm gonna give it around 2 or 4 left and right, and 2 top and bottom. And we need to center the text. So now it should work. Read more, but I think the paragraph has some spacing after it. That's why it's not centered. So we need to go again to paragraph here and to remove the space after it. So I'm just going to make it bold and make the text white and resize it a little bit more. We can't see it because of the grid lines, so let me just remove the grid lines to see if it looks okay. Yeah, it looks okay. I think the spacing before and after is a bit of problematic, so we need to go to cell, the whole cell. So we have around 5 millimeters, so we need to add more. Let us add 9, top, bottom. So now we have kind of better spacing top, bottom. Now let's move to the other layout. Let me activate the grid lines. And here we need to do the same, copy the headline, paste here. And here we have 3 columns, so we need to add a table with 3 columns. So this is our table. The thing is that we have two rows. So this table has just one row. Let me go back, or let me just insert below, go to table layout, insert below. So the top row is going to hold the icons, the bottom row is going to hold the text. So let me first remove the border. As usual, table design, no border. And now we need to copy like really just kind of small text. Or let me copy more text. It's kind of not much. And now let's copy the icons. Let's remove the grid lines to see how it looks like. This icon here is kind of um, bigger than the other one, so it looks a bit weird. So let me make this one a little bit bigger. This one as well. Looks much better, but let me add, we can add more spacing. So let us add at the bottom kind of 5 millimeters. It looks much better. Here it's centered, so let me center them. Again, align center. It looks much better. Now let's move to the last one, which is the footer of this template. And here we need to go to table design and we need to give it a background. And we use this one. And we need to go to the properties and add more spacing because the spacing is kind of not much. So now we have one left, right, top, bottom. We have 1 centimeter. And let's start with this one. This is a table. So with 3 columns, insert 3 columns. Let me resize it. Again, resize it and let me center it. And to center it, you need to go to properties, table, alignment, and center. And now it's centered. We need now to add the text. And here we can just type it contact, unsubscribe. And we need again to center the table because I kind of undo it, went back and removed the center. So we need to go. You can also use the right mouse button to go to table properties and here alignment center. And we need to make our table a bit bigger. So now it looks much better. We need to center and remove the borders. And we need to add a kind of spacing top bottom. I'm gonna show you why. Because of this line between the buttons, we need now to make it 2 and use the same color and then go to inside vertical border. I think the spacing top bottom is a bit of too much, so let's go back to table properties and reduce it. Yeah, now it's a bit better. So in order to write under it, you need to type your mouse cursor or click next to the table on the right side. So here, as you see my mouse cursor, and then press on space. And pressing on space is going to allow you to type under the table. Because if you try to write under the table, next to the table, you will end up um, adding a new row. So you don't want to do that. So let me just add this one. Doing a copy paste from Illustrator to Microsoft is kind of a bit difficult. It doesn't work all times. So sometimes you need to do the copy paste somewhere else as a medium between the two programs and then come back to Outlook and do the copy paste here. The last thing is the copyright. And let us center it. We need to go to text and then center it. And now let's remove the grid lines and we can see now this is our table. I forgot to add the background to the other table, so we can reactivate the grid line, and then by typing next to the outer table, we can highlight it by pressing on the button. Then we can go to table design and give it a background. And after adding the background, you can see that our table now is kind of affected by the background. We need to highlight it and to give it one color. But this is gonna cause really a big problem because as I said, I forgot at the beginning to add the background, so now we need to do it again everywhere. And that's it. I kind of prefer it without background. So let's go back and try without the background. So I kind of prefer it this way without adding a background. Now let's go to table layout and remove the grid line. It kind of look much better without a beige background. Now let's talk about something, adding links. We can highlight the text and go to insert, and here we will have bookmarks and links. They are here in the middle, so you can add a link. And here, place within the document or existing or web layout. You can just type the address or the link of your document or of your URL. You can type the address of your homepage here or the URL that you want to link here. This is about adding a link. You can also create a navigation by adding bookmarks. So you can add a bookmark here and a bookmark here, and then you can go on the top and create navigation. You can create a link and then place with the document, and here you will see your bookmarks. Now, after finishing the newsletter, so how can I use it in the new Outlook, for example? Let me open an email in the new Outlook. So we have here the new Outlook, and I'm gonna go to Word. So I'm gonna do here Control A, select everything, Control C, copy, and then come back here to the Outlook window and make it bigger, and then Control V, paste. And here we have our newsletter template. It's here. We need to do kind of um, basic formatting because sometimes it's not 100% there. So I'm just going to go back again, and we have paste. And here at the bottom, it's asking us keep source formatting. So if we keep source formatting, it's going to keep kind of our formatting. But here, for example, we need to work on the button because it's not working well, but everything else is kind of the same formatting, exactly the same formatting. Just the button here. And to fix it, I think we need to go to format text and then here remove spacing before paragraph. And after we remove the spacing before paragraph, we have like the same button that we created there, and we can do the same with these with these buttons here. We need to go to here, remove space before text, and now we have like exactly the same design that we created in Word. And it's the same in Gmail. Also do copy paste from Word to Gmail. If you want also to save it as HTML, you can go to File and then Save As. And here from the list, you can save as HTML. So this option here, this one here. But the problem is you need to format it. So you need to go inside the HTML and delete a lot of code because Microsoft has kind of a magic in the background. They will add a lot of trash code or Microsoft related code, which you don't need it. You can just delete it. I'm not gonna go over it. So the video was just about building a newsletter in Word. I have an extended version about Classic Outlook, which is similar to Word. So if you want, you can go and watch it. It's around, I think, 1 hour, 15 minutes. This is a shorter version. I explained just how to build it. And this newsletter is going to be 100% responsive on all devices, and you can use it everywhere in Classic Outlook, Gmail, HTML, New Outlook. If you have any question, please leave a comment and see you in other tutorials.